It is a story that we have been following for quite some time now, and today the Supreme Court of Oklahoma heard arguments in a case involving the decision to approve the first Catholic online charter school. Republican Attorney General Gentner Drummond is leading the charge against St. Isidore of Seville Charter School. He says the decision will lead to, quote, state-funded Catholicism. Republican Governor Kevin Stitt supports the school. He called its establishment a victory for religious freedom. And for insights on the case and what happened in court today, let's bring in Rick Garnett, director of the program on church, state, and society at the University of Notre Dame Law School. Rick, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it. So why is the Oklahoma Attorney General so against the opening of the school, and what is the basis of his lawsuit?
Well, in my view, he's misunderstanding two key principles of American church-state law. So one of those principles is that even though we've always distinguished between church and state in order to protect religious freedom, we've also always permitted cooperation between governments on the one hand and religious institutions on the other in order to provide vital public goods. Think of all the religious hospitals that do good services, all the religious social welfare agencies. And Attorney General Drummond just seems to be under the mistaken impression that that violates the separation of church and state, that kind of cooperation. The other thing he's missing out on is that the Supreme Court has very clearly been emphasizing another key principle, and that is that governments are not permitted to discriminate against religious providers and religious actors. And that's precisely what Attorney General Drummond is proposing. The St. Isidore school is simply asking to participate as one among many other charter school providers. And the only reason it's being singled out for exclusion by the Attorney General, or attempted exclusion, is because it's religious. And the free exercise clause of the First Amendment doesn't permit that. So the law is on St. Isidore's side on this one. And it's just a mistake to think that permitting cooperation with a charter school amounts to a violation of the separation of church and state.
Yeah, Rick, fill us in, if you will, on what happened today in court, and what were your big takeaways?
Well, I wasn't able to be present, unfortunately, although some of my Notre Dame colleagues were, but I was able to watch it on YouTube. I thought it was, as a law professor, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was an impressive conversation. I do think, as I've already said, that what I regard as the misunderstanding of the Attorney General was sort of brought out by the lawyers who are supporting the chartering. The key thing to appreciate here, in my view anyway, is that charter school laws differ from state to state. In Oklahoma, the model is that charter schools are not government schools. They're more like public contractors. And if you think of, imagine if the government decides it wants to build a road, it might well hire a private paving company or a private landscaping company. That doesn't convert that landscaping company into the government. And the Attorney General seemed to be under the impression that if the government of Oklahoma cooperated in any way with a private provider in order to bring about the public good of education, that it somehow converted that private provider into a state actor. That's just not the law. St. Isidore, it is a Catholic school, but it's not the government. It's providing a public good to the community. And again, it's a public good that Oklahoma is allowed to subcontract for. So I'm hoping that the Oklahoma Supreme Court will, with the help of the lawyers, see what the law truly is and will allow this project to go forward.
Yeah, really quickly, about 30 seconds left or so. But I know one of the cases that the school referenced was Carson versus Macon, that Supreme Court case. Quickly, can you tell us, if you will, how does that stand up? Wouldn't that maybe supersede state laws?
Carson versus Macon is a key case for St. Isidore's. Carson is the case that really doubles down on the idea that governments can't discriminate against otherwise qualified religious providers in the context of an education program. So the Supreme Court's latest word on this is squarely on the side of St. Isidore.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Rick, thank you so much for weighing in. We appreciate it. God bless.
Thank you.